Okay. Number 9 says, one researcher writes, human beings are innately aggressive. As evidence, the researcher cites the prevalence of warfare in history and then discounts any current disinclination to fight. The most peaceable peoples of today were often ravagers of yesteryear and will probably fight again in the future. But if some people are peaceable now, then aggression itself cannot be coded in our genes, only the potential for it. If innate only means possible or even likely in certain environments, then everything we do is innate and the word has no meaning.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite questions.
Is it? Because I
so not the question itself. I think their reasoning is funny. They're like, if we give this stuff, it's kind of like, I think about it like the word love. Like you know how people say we overuse the word love. So like love has no meaning. Like saying I love, like, oh, I love pizza. Well, like you love like this family member the same level that you love pizza.
Yeah, I got that.
Kind of a here. So what is our conclusion?
Oh, I have no idea. This is why I got stumped, because I could not grab anything out of this. One researcher writes evidence. Innate only means possible. I think then everything, if innate only means possible or even likely in certain environments, then everything we do is innate and the word has no meaning. It's not as evidence.
Okay, so one research writes, so we start out with an opinion of others, right? Mm-hmm. One research writes that human beings are innately aggressive, and this researcher uses the evidence that prevalence of warfare in history and then discounts any current disinclination to fight. The most peaceable peoples of today were often ravagers of yesteryear and will probably fight again in the future. But okay, so this is what the researcher is citing, correct?
But then, so this is where the researcher's argument comes in now, but
yeah, or are not our researcher, I think us, like the writer of this.
Oh, okay.
One researcher like writes here, author. This is literally, yeah, researcher versus author is how I read this. Like the author is saying that one researcher writes this, when we say but.
Okay, got it.
But if some or one person are peaceable now, then aggression itself cannot be coded in our genes, only the potential for it. If innate only means possible or even likely in certain environments, and everything we do innate and the word has no meaning. So out of those two sentences, which one is our author's conclusion?
That that aggression itself can be coded in our genes. Okay.
Because the if statement afterwards, right, is our support for that.
Yeah, our premise.
Because we're saying like, hey, if this is what we're saying, like, hey, if this happens, then this.
Yeah.
So what technique do we use to weaken the argument for the claim that aggressiveness is innate to humans? So essentially what they're saying is, which is what we do here. So the fact that we found our conclusion is totally fine, but they're asking us, how does the author weaken this here? Because our conclusion is essentially weakening the researcher's
argument. Yeah.
So how do we go about doing that?
He gives like the definitions of innate, meaning only possible, or likely in certain environments.
Yeah, essentially he's like, this could mean anything. So literally you have no, like, human beings are innately aggressive. Like, yeah. So then what answer choices did you narrow this one down to?
So I got between A and B because I was like C, D, E. Even though I didn't understand the stimulus at all, I just knew C, D, and E were like
that's supportive. Great. Let me just make sure really quick. An attempt is made to undermine the argument for innate right, arguing that there are no genetically based traits. Do we say there's no not be coded in our genes? D, an attempt is made to undermine the argument for innate aggressiveness by suggesting that it appeals to, we don't appeal to emotion rather than reason. And then E, an attempt is made to undermine the argument for innate aggressiveness by arguing that all peoples are peaceable. No.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So A says the accuracy of the historical data cited in the argument for, okay. So is the accuracy of the historical data cited called into question ever? Like, do we even have any historical data?
Yeah, no. So I chose A originally because I thought the historical data was the prevalence in warfare in history. And I don't know why, but I guess I was just reading it too fast. And I was like, oh, warfare in history. Like this is
Which even if that is historical data, do we
No.
say that's not true?
Mm-mm.
No, so that can't be our answer.
Yeah.
All right, so then B, the force of the concept of innateness used. Oh yeah, a lot of people don't like this answer because it says the force. They don't like the word force.
That's what I thought. I literally wrote that down. I said force question mark. And
yeah, so the use of the concept innateness used in the argument for innate aggressiveness is called into question. So yeah, do we call into question the use of the word innateness?
Yeah, because you have the quotations of innate. What does it mean? And
absolutely. Cool. Yeah, we're saying like, hey, if this is what your definition of innate is, and this is what it means, literally it then has no meaning.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was like the general consensus. I was like the word force like threw me off, but I kept it and I was like, maybe.
So yeah. Don't be afraid to translate your answer choices.